So we're done with Greenwich Village. We're gonna walk back over to the main museum complex and take a look at all the stuff inside. The entrance to the Henry Ford Museum. Not sure how to feel when things I grew up with are starting to be put in museums as exhibits of how things used to be. I'm worried it might be getting old.
Okay. Do you know what a prototype is?
Yeah.
Okay. You know prototype cars? You've seen them? Did you ever look under the hood of a prototype car? Yeah, it probably doesn't have an engine in it. Can't drive it. You know, it's just there for looks. So when they built the prototypes for this, one was outside to see how it would weather, the other was inside for people to look at. Yeah, nowhere near being finished. You can't live in it, just like you can't drive a prototype car. And even though tens of thousands of people were, letting them know, hey, I could live in that, that meant to Fuller and Beach Aircraft, let's get this thing going. But the investors were standing back out laughing, going, yeah, really? They don't live in it. So he needs $10 million. That's about $100 million today to do two major things. Number one, finish the house. Of course, it's going to help keep the company going too. But the major things are finish the house, and he's got to retool Beach. Okay, do you know what that means? You're going to use the same machines, but you got to put different equipment in those machines. They're called tools and dies. To make the parts for a house now instead of parts for aircraft. That's expensive.
come inside through these gutters in the roof, and they go into an internal drain. Still, material still feels like a mobile home style. So that's the foundation anchor and part of the ventilation system. Small furnace, central mast, and all the utilities are built around that point. You can't have a Henry Ford museum without a large collection of cars and vehicles. Dodge Omni. Buddy who lived across the street from me for a while used to race these things at the local speedway. 1989 Honda Accord sedan. Our family growing up had a 1985 Honda Accord 5-speed, kind of the family vehicle. Sister and I would trade back and forth of who needed it the most. This one's an automatic though. 1931 Bugatti Type 41 Royale. Buddy Tater, big fan of three-wheel vehicles. Here's a 1899 Duriat Trap. One of the most graceful early automobiles. It's a 1908 Stevens Duriat Model U limousine. 1915 Chevrolet Royale Mel Roadster. What is this? This is a Lincoln Zephyr sedan. 1936. Love the body shape on that car. 1948 Tucker 48 sedan. And a 1958 Edsel Citation hardtop. Of course, we got some NASCAR and other racing league vehicles here. Bill Elliott drove this car to the fastest lap ever turned at NASCAR event, 212.809 miles per hour, while qualifying for the 1987 Winston 500 at Talladega Speedway. 2011 Ford Fusion stock car. 1958 Firebird 3. '67 Ford Mach 4. First All-American car and team to win the Le Mans 24-hour race. If you follow the history of Ford racing, they fought for many, many years to try to beat the European manufacturers in that race, Le Mans. This is the 2016 Ford GT. And GT40 won, well, the original one won the 24-hour Le Mans in 1966 and 67, 68, 69. 2016, they returned to the French endurance race with the new Ford GT and won. Their win in 2016 came 50 years to the date of their first race. It's actually a little bit taller and maybe wider than the original. Actually kind of surprising how wide the car is. Here we go, 1980 commuter car, predecessor of the city car, where electric cars designed for limited use in cities during the sharp increase in gas prices. Now this thing either looks like one of the little droids from Star Wars or something a cartoon mouse would drive. Now this car is very interesting to me. This was the General Motors EV1, one of the early modern attempts at electric vehicles after California passed the CARB Act, which would, over many years, slowly increase the amount of non-polluting vehicles, non-emission polluting vehicles that car companies would have to offer. So at the same time that they came up with vehicles and offered them to the public, the car manufacturers were fighting all the way up to, I believe, the Supreme Court in California to get rid of this law, as it was more than he wanted to handle. Now the EV1 is a fully electric vehicle by General Motors, released only in California. They tried to say that there wasn't enough people who wanted to purchase them, but they had a long waiting list. And everyone who had one seemed to really like it. Now they only leased them, they never sold them, and after they beat the CARB Act, eventually they took all the EV1s back and crushed most of them, destroyed most of them. This one, I'm pretty sure if you were to pop the hood, there is no motor in here. They did not want the motors out there. They actually went ahead and destroyed them. Now this was the most serious attempt since the 1920s. They built 1,117 cars between 96 and 99. GM tried to say there was too few enthusiasts to support large scale. Interesting thing on here is because there's no combustion engine, there's not a lot of maintenance to do. There's not a lot of parts to wear out, there's no coolant to add, there's no pistons going bad. Very efficient type of car. And honestly, a lot of manufacturers, at least at that time and probably still today, make more money on selling repair parts, and the dealers make more money on servicing than they do initially selling the vehicle. So they were scared that this was going to be a loss for them. If they didn't have enough parts to replace it, they'd go out of business. They don't want to make cars that require that little maintenance and repair. Now the lease price on these was between $400 and $550. Yeah, really neat. Oh no, there's a kid underneath there. 1984 Plymouth Voyager. Plymouth's version of the Dodge Caravan. I had a 90 and a 91 growing up. Got them both for free. The first one, the transmission was blown. And the owner said if I can get it out of there, I could keep it. Took me a couple of weeks to get the thing running with the help of my dad, one of the first big car projects I worked on. The body and the engine had over 300,000 miles on it. And it was on its 5th transmission by the time I was done with it. Everything else on them was great. Everything held up real nice, but their transmissions were just weak. And they went through them, you know. a big snowplow. (1923) Canadian Pacific snowplow. 154, a 1909 Baldwin drag consolidation. Alright guys, it's almost 5 o'clock. Museum's closing down. I think we've seen what we're going to see for the day. There's a lot more here, more than I could film, more than I could see. It's definitely worth checking out. I highly recommend it. It's a great museum. The village is great. We didn't even get a chance to do the factory tour because they're not open on Sundays. If you get a chance to come here or you're in the area, don't miss it. Let's head off to the next spot. All right, welcome back. We're at our next destination. Got our first bit of rain on the trip. Not too bad, kind of refreshing. Right now, we're gonna go check out Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. This place is chock full. All sorts of stuff. Every bit of the walls is covered. This right here, my favorite pinball machine ever. We're gonna have to come back and play that.
Love life, pal, before you read about it yourself on the internet. Well, congratulations. Looks like you are hot, my friend. Too hot. Most people don't like getting them there blisters on their mouth from their lover types. You are spicy in low doses, but when you pour on the charm, you can empty out a restaurant. Make like a hot pepper and get the jalapeno out of here before your eyes start watering.
Thanks, Louie. I've just been informed of something really interesting here. As I was getting my Marvin's penny crushed, they have a dime crusher here. And this will actually put the Lord's Prayer on a dime. I've never seen a dime cruncher before, so let's watch. There's my dime. Falls in. Wheels are spinning. Goes. Whoa. Check that out. Well, that's neat. Alright, give this a try.
Businesses reports are coming in from all over the world. The Earth is under attack. An attack from Mars. Get the troops ready.
All right, and we're done here. Thanks, Marvin.